What's up, fam? Modern day caveman. Well, Friday turned out to be a little bit different than I thought it was going to be. So remember the last video I did, I was talking about PO problems and one of my guys in his PO. Well, it turns out it wasn't his PO. His PO was actually on board, and his PO knew who we were and whatnot. It was the director of the halfway house that he was in, the Talbert house. So it turns out, the long story short is, I thought it was the PO, so I called my connect to the ODRC, which is pretty high up. She's the regional director, and I told her the problem that I was having. So she ended up messaging the PO and the PO supervisor. So I ended up getting a call from the PO later on that day, and I also called another senior parole officer that was there that actually came and visited our program, and I told him that I was having a problem getting in contact with this PO, and like I'm trying to get a guy out of the halfway house and into our program. So they ended up contacting her, and she ended up contacting me. So she was like, I told her that the resident told me that she didn't know who we were, and he couldn't move unless she got a chance to meet us and see where he was moving to. And she was like, I did not say that. That is not what I said. She says, I know about the Jubilee Project. I was there on the meeting when they were talking about the Jubilee Project. And so she was like, I know about you guys. And so she was like, it's the Talbert house. Like that, she says, they told me that his case manager is off today, Friday, and will be off Monday. It won't be back till Tuesday, and that she's the only one that could sign. That she's the only one willing. She's the only one that would sign his release papers. And she says, I've told them that they can release him to you, but she said, they told me that she's the only one. His case manager, Miss Bree, I guess that's her name is the only one that is willing to sign the paperwork. No one else is willing to sign the paperwork. And I said, wait a minute. I said, you mean willing? Like, what do you mean? Like you said willing, not can't, but willing. And she was like, yeah, nobody else wants to do it. And I said, so there's no supervisor there? And she was like, I couldn't get a hold of her. And I said, okay, right. So I called again to my connect in the ODRC and told him what the problem was, and I told the PO. So she told me to have the PO email the director of ODRC. Email the director of the halfway house, and she did. So she said email her the release forms. So she did that, and I ended up. She told me to go to the halfway house, and I should, go talk to the director and tell her who I am, tell her that the email is waiting on her, and that she should, release him. And if you have any more problems, to call me. So I was like, all right. So I left, and I went to the halfway house with the guy, because I had to take him back. And she was like, I talked to the director. Actually, I talked to the receptionist first. And the RA, that's what it's called, the RA. I talked to the RA, and she says, yes, I talked to Miss Miller, and that's who's the one that can sign the paper. So I was like, okay. So I asked if I could speak to her. And so she was giving a tour to somebody from somebody else, some other place. And so she saw me, and I introduced myself. I gave her my card, told her who I was, and she was like, well, my program director is not here, and she's the one that does the release forms. And I said, wait a minute. I said I just got a question. I said, are you telling me that she's the only one that can sign the release form? And she was like, no, I can sign it too, but he doesn't have his discharge papers, and I need to talk to his PO. And I was like, wait. I said, okay, wait a minute. I said, all right. Now, if you would go to your office and get on your computer, you have an email from his parole officer telling you that she's releasing him. He also has his discharge papers. And she was like, he has his discharge paper. And I said, yes, he has his discharge papers. It was done Wednesday, when I came down here and I interviewed him, his case manager is the one that did the discharge papers for me, because I told her I'd take him into the program. So he has a copy of his discharge papers. And she was like, he has a copy of his discharge. I was like, yes. I said, everything you're asking me to do is already done. We just need a signature. And she was like, well, I shouldn't even be talking to you anyways. I'm not even authorized to talk to you, because not anything dealing with his case, because I don't know who you are. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I said, he's got his paperwork, though. All you got to do is go to the office, just check your emails. And she was like, I got an email right now. I said, yeah, go check your email. And she was like, you hold on. So she left. And then the guy came out, and I said, you got your discharge papers? He's like, yeah. I said, give her a copy of your discharge. Let her see your discharge papers. So she came back, and she was like, okay, Mr. Reed. Yes, he's ready to go. He's good to go. Her whole attitude had changed. I don't know what happened, but her whole attitude had changed, and it was cool. And I understand she was just doing her job, but bureaucracy, man, it's the bureaucracy. But I knew that I had to have my ducks in a row when I went down there. I couldn't have just went down there with, saying this and this and that. I had to have pieces in place and people in place and have them all on the same page before I went down there and confronted this organization, because it's all about the mighty dollar. Because he's a good guy. He was a good resident at that place, and they really didn't want him to leave, to be honest, because he did a lot for them, and they was losing a good guy, and they get paid for him being there. So, but they can fill his spot. They might not be able to fill his spot with somebody as good as he was, but he's moving on. He's elevating himself to a next level, and so he can't be stuck in a halfway house. It's a halfway house. He needs to get out and be into a real house and to be in a real situation where he can start living his life and building his life. He can't do it in a halfway house. So I'm just glad that we got him. Well, we got him out of there, and now he's thriving. Oh my God, you should see him. He's thriving. He's really, really thriving. I'm very proud of him. Very proud of him, because he's going to get it, man. He's a go-getter, and I'm very proud of him. I'm watching him build his life. I'm seeing him bringing it together, and he's starting to get more freedoms, and he likes it. He's doing good, man, and I hope that God continues to allow me to be helpful in his life so he can be prosperous. So that's that. So we got that going, and they're actually doing a great job in the house, man. Like I'm proud of both of them. I'm proud of both of them. I am. I'm very proud of both of them. So I got pulled over by the State Highway Patrol the other day, and I was actually speeding. But I wasn't speeding because I was speeding on the highway. I was speeding because I was trying to get around these two trucks. And I sped up just to get past these two trucks because they kept slowing down. They kept going 60 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour thing. And so when I sped up to get past them, I saw this cop, the State Highway Patrol trooper. He was getting on the highway as I was passing these two trucks. I was doing about 85, I guess, trying to get past these two trucks, and he pulled right behind me, and I was like, "Oh, dang, he got me!" I was like, but I wasn't really but I was speeding, but I wasn't speeding like for a long period of time. I was speeding to pass these two trucks, and I'm not making excuses. The truth was I was speeding. So he pulled me over, and so I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, and she's like, "Just stay on the phone with me." I'm like, "All right." I said, "But I'm not really nervous." But so I pull out my wallet, I get out my driver's license, I get out my insurance card, I got the registration in the glove box. I didn't want to do that, but I got the window down, I got my hands on the steering wheel, and I got the license and insurance card right in my hand, like on the steering wheel. I'm like this, and so when he walks up, and he was like, "Where you going in a hurry?" I said, "Man, I'm going to Cincinnati." And he was like, "Okay." And I was in Columbus, and he was like, he looked at my license and insurance, and he was like, okay. He said, well, he says, you know that we've had 250 accidents this year, and we're just trying to get people to slow down, man. And he was like, I said 250 accidents. He said that's just in our department. That's just the State Highway Patrol. That's not including the Franklin County or the city police. It's just with the troopers. They had 250 accidents this year alone. And I was like, this year? It's only like February. And he was like, yes. He says, so we're just trying to get people to slow down. And I was like, wow. He was like, but I see you got a clean driving record. He was like, man, just slow down, all right? And I was like, all right, yeah. And it was real cordial. Like, it was like I wasn't really nervous, but but I'm legal, so I don't got nothing to be nervous about. I'm legal. I know I made a mistake. He caught me speeding, so he said, oh, that's the first thing he did. He said, I noticed you got your seatbelt on. He's like, you got a good driver's record, you got license, insurance. He was like, just slow down, man. I was like, all right, you got that, and it was cool. It was cool. He let me get I was like, all right, I pulled off, and so then when you have contact with the police, being on supervised release, if you're on any type of supervision, one of the main stipulations is anytime you have contact with law enforcement officers, you have to contact your PO. So even if you don't get in trouble, even just if you have contact with law enforcement. So I said, okay. So I after the trooper pulled off, the highway patrol pulled off, I texted my PO and was like, hey, I just got pulled over by the highway patrol. I didn't get a ticket, just a warning to slow down. And I texted to him. And I was like, here we go. I didn't know what was getting ready to happen with that. But I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But my PO just texted me back and was like, thanks. I was like, all right. but I was wrong, so, but it was just, not every encounter with the police is bad. I think the police is needed, so I don't have a beef against the police at all. I think we need the police, and I applaud the police. And not every experience with the police is a bad experience, and not every police is a bad police. So, and not all of them are racist. I wanted to say that too. All right, well, I got to say it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the notification button. Yeah. All right, remember, God loves you, so do I. Peace. One love.